With Saieed Ali, I am your host, Saeed. Thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. With a little update for you. Chief Personnel Officer and Commander Dr. Daryl Dindyal says his anticipation, the 10% wage negotiation with Public Servants Association, PSA, to begin in the last week of November when he returns to the country as he is currently abroad on business. The CPO's office will be communicating with the PSA on Wednesday to advise them on the status of preparation. The proposed wage increase will cover two periods, 2014 to 2016 and 2017 to 2019, representing the 5% increase for each period. Moving along from that, Trinidad and Tobago, the Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Bank, TTMB, and the Estate Police Association have signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at improving access to home ownership and financial empowerment for estate police officers. The agreement, signed on Monday, established a 5-year partnership that will give the EPA members access to tailored mortgages package, project financing for house development and investment opportunities designed to support long-term wealth creation. The partnership will be reviewed annually with provisions for renewal and expansion into binding agreement for specific project. Also, viewers, 1 week ago, following the Prime Minister presentation at the Tobago House of Assembly, legislator Chief Secretary Farley Augustine stated that her remarks contain some good signal regarding Tobago being on its own autonomy and its crucial or critical development needs. Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this.
We heard from the Prime Minister today. We had some good signals in terms of Tobago and Tobago's autonomy and us being able to do what we need to do. And we will continue to push the central government to ensure that Tobago gets what Tobago needs critically in this time so that our development can accelerate.
So into our current affairs segment, Trinidad and Tobago. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Nicholas Morris, has called for stronger international collaboration to combat narco-trafficking and transnational crime, warning that these threats have undermined peace and security in Trinidad and Tobago, which Trinidadians is quite correct. Where's our peace and security? Where has it gone? Speaking at the Select EU Summit in Santa Maria, Colombia, Morris said the country no longer exists in a zone of peace due to serious impact of drugs and human trafficking across the region. Could any one of the Caribbean countries, ministers, come out and say that they don't have this in their country? He told delegates that while Trinidad and Tobago value peace as a supreme asset, its reality over the past 2 decades has been shaped by organized crime and its social and economic consequences. Listen to Morris.
However, while the Trinidad Republic has maintained its aspirational goal as originally conceptualized, in the context of the reality faced by Trinidad and Tobago over the past 2 decades, it is our considered view that we, Trinidad and Tobago, do not exist in a zone of peace, given the disproportionate impact of transnational crime in our region, and specifically within Trinidad and Tobago with respect to narco and human trafficking. It is an impact of daily realities.
So now, viewers, Morris also called for reform of the international financial system.
Trinidad and Tobago renews its call and joins the call for reform of the international financial architecture and the rules that they apply to vulnerable states. Developing countries, and more pointedly, small island developing states, have vulnerabilities because of climate change, economic shocks, and their small size. Yet the gap between access to finance for advanced economies and developing countries continues to widen.
Now, viewers, he expressed solidarity with CARICOM members, states affected by Hurricane Melissa. The summit was attended by heads of state and government from Latin America, the Caribbean, the European Union, including the President of Colombia, Brazil, and the European Council. So there are quite a few interesting heads there, Trinidad and Tobago. The world's largest and the most advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, arrived in the U.S. Southern Command Southcom area of responsibility on Tuesday, marking the end of a week-long transatlantic journey aimed at growing U.S. military buildup and ongoing boat strikes in the Caribbean waters. According to a U.S. Navy statement, the Ford carrier, it's a strike group led by Ford itself, entered the region under the direction of the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, in effort to dismantle transnational crime, criminal organization, and counter narco-terrorism. The arrival comes as the U.S. has carried out its at least 19 lethal boat strike across the Caribbean and Pacific. Over the past 2 months, operations that have reportedly killed a fewer than 75 alleged narco-terrorists on board small vessels. Pentagon Chief Spokesman Sean Parnell said Ford's presence will bolster the U.S. capacity to delect or direct monitor and distribute illegal actor and activities that compromise the safety of the nation. So Trinidad and Tobago, there's a ship in the ocean that is going to monitor illegal trade that is taking place. Is that a plus for Trinidad and Tobago? Or is CARICOM going to kick against that? Is the opposition going to kick against that? You know what I want to ask the opposition in Trinidad and Tobago? They all talk about the zone of peace, the zone of peace, the zone of peace. But has Trinidad and Tobago had peace for the last 10 years? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. If Trinidad and Tobago, forget the zone of peace, did Trinidad and Tobago had peace for the last 10 years? Ask yourself that. And I want Marvin to ask himself that. I want Fitzgerald Hines to ask himself that. I want Penelope to ask himself that. Ask herself that. Do we have peace in the land? They're talking about a zone of peace outside in the ocean. But each Caribbean country, they are suffering from the same thing. Drugs on the streets, illegal firearm on the streets, human trafficking on the corner. All the CARICOM leaders who are talking about the zone of peace and the zone of peace, ask them if they have peace in their country. Forget the ocean. Forget the ocean. Forget the military ships in the ocean. Ask these CARICOM leaders if they have peace in their country. And then start with peace on the water. Can they answer that? I'll be waiting. Now, as the USS Gerald R. Ford streams into the US South come. It brings with it 4,000 US sailors, a dozen of tactical aircraft. Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro ordered its military operation be amped up within the coming hours to confront imperial threat. A release from Venezuela Defense Minister Vladimir Lopez on Tuesday announced that a higher phase of independence, now 200 operation, the country's national defense and mobilization framework will be in effect from 4 p.m. today until tomorrow. President Maduro warned that Chavismo would respond with an insurrection general strike if the United States take military action against his government. So Trinidad and Tobago, are we attacking Venezuela? Speaking at a meeting with the national leadership of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, the members of the PSUV youth, Maduro said the working class would paralyze the country's productivity, the activities, unless Chavismo is returned to power in the event of a coup or foreign intervention. Trinidad and Tobago, I'll tell you something. They have their own war going on. They have their own war with the United States. They have their own war going on in their country within the two parties. Who is right, who is wrong? So for me, to be honest with you, I will leave them right there battling themselves. According to Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, she said, they may bothering with Venezuela and Maduro, you know. She and her government is about fixing Trinidad and Tobago, and they are carrying out their duties on a daily basis. So ask yourself, if our Prime Minister is not taking heed of what Maduro and his government is saying, why is the opposition doing it? Why is the opposition so bent on listening to Maduro? Ask Penelope that. Ask Marvin that. Ask Amy Brown that. Why are they so bent on listening to Maduro? And like I said, Trinidad and Tobago, just a little reminder, millions of Venezuelans fled under Maduro leadership in Venezuela. Just keep that in mind. And the opposition, who lost the election on April, is bent on listening to Maduro. So Trinidad and Tobago, we are going for a short commercial break. Lots more when we return.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, Real Talk Financing is giving you 5% on our fixed deposit, viewers. No one does it better than Real Talk Financing. At Real Talk Financing, viewers, we encourage you to let your money work for you, not against you. For you. Open a fixed deposit and get 5% with the interest up front. No one does it better. Remember that. So, again, Ralph Gonzalez and family has HEC houses in Trinidad. We have the documents. I just didn't get time to upload it to show you. So we have Trinbagonians in our country waiting for HEC houses years now, and I believe it was sometime in April of this year, 2025, it was signed off on. Ralph Gonzalez and family. Who is Ralph Gonzalez? Prime Minister of St. Vincent. And his family has HEC houses in Trinidad. But nevertheless, I'll leave that right there. Tomorrow I'll show you all the documents. Minister in the office of Prime Minister, Senator Darrell P. Allaha, has warned that person responsible for today's bomb threat at the office of the Prime Minister will be found and dealt with. He confirmed that the building's evacuation protocol was immediately active as soon as a threat was discovered, shortly after 9 a.m., and the authority were immediately notified. That this morning, Trinidad and Tobago, Minister Allaha said he accompanied staff to their muster point at Nelson Mandela Park to await further instructions from the authorities. The incident not only affected operation at the OPM, Office of the Prime Minister, but other buildings and institutions in the immediate vicinity. Traffic in the area was restricted, investigations are being conducted, and the person or persons behind what occurred today shall be dealt with, he said. Nobody's above the law. We've been hearing that for years, nobody's above the law, Nobody is above the law. We have been hearing that for years from Commissioner of Police, from Attorney General, from ministers. They are recovering documents of fraud, mismanagement, extortions of money, taxpayers' money. No document, no paper trail, no procurement, but money spent. And you know what, Trinidad and Tobago? You want to know something? Nobody is being held for it. Nobody is being held for it. They bring out all the documents to show you X, Y, and Z is the case. But who's investigating? How long is it going to take? So a message from TTPS. With the Christmas seasons fast approaching, Trinidad and Tobago Police Services assuring shoppers and business owners in the capital that their safety remains a priority. On Tuesday, officers of the Port of Spain Division conducted a show of force exercise in the downtown area. Senior officers led their junior rank on a walkathon through engaging with business owners, shoppers, and members of the public to strengthen community relations and boost visibility. Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP Gavin Henry, who heads Area West, said the initiative signals the TTPS commitment to maintaining safety and order throughout the busy holidays. Listen to this.
Our plan basically, right, which is geared to not only crime prevention, but building trust and confidence and partnering with the community, is to have that sense of security, build that sense of security by mere presence and increased presence of the police in Port of Spain to deal with the issues that affect both the shoppers and businessmen.
So now viewers, ACP Henry also met with the president of the Downtown Owners Merchant Association, DOMA, who commended the TTPS for its proactive approach. The president noted that the police continue to work closely with the business community to reduce crime and create a safer shopping environment in the city of Port of Spain.
He also expressed his gratitude, right, for what is taking place here and asked me to extend it to Commissioner of Police. By and large, this is an extension of the Commissioner's plan, right? So all he wanted to do was, one, sensitize us to certain areas that he thinks we should pay attention to, give us the assurance that he will continue the partnership, and express his gratitude for what we are doing.
So viewers, we want to wish them the best in the Christmas season. We know it's going to be busy. Carnival is around the corner. TTPS officers are out. Also, who are out on the streets is the pickpocketers, the gold snatchers, the chain snatchers, the bandits, the individual who, you see, might thief your vehicle. They are also out on the streets for the Christmas season and the Carnival season. So viewers, please be aware of your surroundings, please. So we move into Tobago. Tobago men and boys took charge of the Tobago House of Assembly chamber on Monday for the island's first ever International Men's Day debate. The debate centered on a motion calling on the THA to foster collaboration among government and non-governmental organizations to restore balance, empowering men, and strengthening Tobago's social fabric. Moving the motion, Mr. Keegan Dinoon, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but forgive me if I did, who assumed the role of minority leader, sounding the alarm on troubling statistics, noting that 81% of suicidal in 2023 were men. Listen to this.
We need a men's mental health network. district-based clinics open after hours, run by male counselors, linked to churches, sports clubs, and workplaces. We need a community mentorship, anger management training, skills development, linked to employment and family reconnection programs that brings fathers back into the lives of their children.
Supporting the motion, viewers, is Edison Thomas, member for St. George, Goodwood. Drew from experience as his father to advocate for gender balance and family-friendly policies. Take a listen.
We want the THA to adopt a policy for 1 month paternity leave for fathers. We can lead the way for the entire country in that regard, until it is recognized in law, of course. We also want to petition the National Insurance Board through the central government, of course, to extend the same 3750 as a one-time paternity benefit for fathers in the first instance, even at the second instance.
Leader of the Assembly and Business, Mr. Joanne Conwell, outlined the majority's recommendation, emphasizing the need for a multi-sectoral approach to redefining men's role in society.
Normalize men's involvement in the delivery room, like my great Secretary of Health already did. And then we must normalize themselves in the classroom and in the home. Too often, mothers growing up with single mothers is a normal thing. We have to change that.
Meanwhile, one of the youngest debaters, Mr. Zeshon Lovelace, made a passionate plea for early intervention. Now, this sounds good. Listen to this.
Men who suffer from depression commonly report that their mental health struggles begin between the ages of 12 and 18 years old. This means the crisis does not begin in adulthood, it begins in childhood. And by the time a boy becomes a man, the wounds are already deep. Therefore, we must examine core issues and adopt a preventive approach.
So, Trinidad and Tobago, the boys had a debate in Tobago, and it was their very first. Hopefully, we can have that in Trinidad and Tobago in our parliament. Hopefully, in the coming weeks, days, or months. Viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on, there's lots more to come.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. To be you. To be you. To be you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, to health now. The Minister of Health, Dr. Lakram Bodo, says we must continue to innovate, educate, and collaborate to build safer, healthier, and more resilient workplace. Speaking at the Health, Safety and Environmental Week or Award, hosted by the American Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday, Dr. Bodo said, the Minister and the Ministry continue to work with stakeholders to strengthen workplace health policies, promote mental and wellness, and ensuring our nation's framework align with international standards. Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this and we will talk after.
We cannot do this alone. We need the private sector, we need civil society, and we need every individual to champion HSE as a shared responsibility.
So viewers, strengthening workplace, strengthening health centers. So I want to ask you tonight, when you go to the health center or to the hospital, how do the nurses approach you? What is the type of service you get when you go to the hospital in 2025? When you go to the triage department and you give them all the information, they will tell you to take a seat. And from there, what takes place from there? The hours of waiting. Sometimes we might meet a nurse who left their home vexed. Sometimes we will encounter people who left their home with a rage. And we often hear people complain about that sort of behavior when they are at the hospital. So the ministers talk about mental wellness. Do we need to check our nurses and doctors in the hospital for mental wellness? I'm asking a question because on a daily basis I get calls from people who visit health centers and hospitals, a place where those people are supposed to care for the one who actually goes there for help. Now, I'll tell you something. We would not go to a health center or a hospital unless we need help. And there are human beings who have decided to do nursing, to go in the field of medical, to be a doctor, to be a surgeon, to be a practitioner. And they practice for this. To end up in the health centers, to end up in the hospitals, helping human beings. So why am I getting calls every day from citizens of Trinidad and Tobago saying that the doctor too rough, the doctor don't know how to speak to people, the nurses and them hoggish, they operating like this hospital is them one. Mental awareness starts with who? The doctor and the nurse. It also starts with the patient understanding what is taking place at that point in time. So we as a people, whether it be a surgeon, a practitioner, a doctor, a nurse, someone who's just taking information, we need to be patient with the people that comes into the facility. They're only coming in there because something is wrong with them. Other than that, they don't need to come in there. Also, I'm not just labeling the nurses and the doctors. Also, we as citizens and human beings who attend this health facility, we need to understand that everything takes time. You go to the triage, you give up your information, you let them know what happened, and you take a seat and you wait for the doctor or the nurse. Now, your attitude might trigger a nurse. The way you conduct yourself, the way you talk to a nurse, not supposed to be. But you know what? The pain, the agony that have you sitting on a chair will cause this type of behavior. And we understand that. But the thing is, you can't go labeling the doctor and the nurses. You can't do that. Remember, you are not the only person they are dealing with, you know. You are not the only person that they are dealing with. So we as a people, we need to understand that, hey, we go into the facility, yes, there's a long line before us, there's a number of people before us, and we need to humble ourselves. I believe they grade you in different hours when you go to the health center or hospital, something like that. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we need to take into consideration the doctors also. Now, in addition to improving workplace policies, Dr. Bodo is also calling on corporate TNT for their support with the National Blood Donation Drive. He says such effort go beyond healthcare as they represent an investment in the well-being of communities and a commitment to fostering a culture of compassion and resilience. So those of you who are accustomed going to the hospital and donating blood, continue doing that. I believe someday this week, a UE student died waiting for blood. And that was so sad. Trust me, it was so sad. So sad. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, condolences to the family. Switching a bit. The Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Company Limited says mechanical problem on the TNT Spirit this morning prevented the vessel from vacating the berth at the Port of Spain Ferry Terminal, causing delays and passengers on board the Boko Reef. The Boko Reef departed Scarborough at 6:30 a.m. and was scheduled to dock at 9:30 a.m., but remained approximately 1.6 kilometers offshore as it waited for the TNT Spirit to clear the docking ramp. The crew reportedly resolved the issue and the berth was cleared by midday. To accommodate affected travelers, the Boko Reef carried passengers from the TNT Spirit 6:30 a.m. sailing to 3 p.m. today. And from 4 p.m., the sailing was at 6 p.m. departure. So now, tomorrow, the Boko Reef will depart Tobago at 10:30 a.m. and Trinidad at 4 p.m. to cover the galleon's passage schedule. So Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who plan to sail tomorrow, this is it. The Boko Reef will depart Tobago at 10:30 a.m. and at Trinidad at 4 p.m. to cover the galleon passage. Company do apologize for whatever took place. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. So before we go to that, the government is expressing its deepest sense of shock and sorrow following a tragic and senseless high-intensity explosion that occurred near Red Fort in Delhi, India on Monday. The devastation has claimed the life of 13 persons and left over 20 others injured. On Tuesday, family grieved for their loss outside a hospital. Now, in a statement, Foreign and Caricom Affairs Minister Sean Sobers said, Trinidad and Tobago stands in absolute solidarity with India as it grapples with a historic or horrific act of violence. Trinidad and Tobago, such a sad thing, eh? It's such a sad, sad, sad thing. The incident has left police scrambling to find answers, as it is a rare occurrence for the spiraling metropolis for more than 30 million people. A bomb, an explosion. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we hope that these things don't happen in our country. Trust me, I really hope that these things don't happen here. We are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on. There's more to come.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
You know, Trinidad and Tobago, I was going through some documents just now that I received from the HTC houses that were allegedly given to Rev. Gonzalez and family. So I asked myself, how is it that we, as a people right here, submitted application for years, and didn't even get the opportunity to own a HTC house? But we have a PM from St. Vincent whose family got houses, HTC houses, right here in Trinidad. It's shocking, you know. It's shocking. And the thing is, they are not citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. But we're going to leave that right there. We're going to leave that right there until I show the documents tomorrow night on television. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. It's just April this year it was signed off, you know. April this year. But nobody left Trinidad and Tobago. So here it is. The Minister of Energy and Energy's Industry, Dr. Ruda Munila, says the government will fast-track decisions regarding the energy sector. As he addressed the opening ceremony of the American Chamber's 29th Health, Safety, Security and Environment Conference on Tuesday, he said the ease of doing business in the sector needs to be addressed. Listen to Munila.
It is our intention in the coming weeks, given the urgency of this issue, to get projects off the ground. We intend to establish an energy accelerator hub within the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. The mandate of this hub will be to debottleneck the approval process along the energy value chain and accelerate the development of projects in the energy sector.
He said the government aims to implementing the Energy Accelerator Hub by the second quarter of 2026. Munila.
We are told by the research over the years that if we would accelerate the ease of doing business in the energy sector, we can generate as much as 120 million United States dollars more per year. With that in mind, the Prime Minister has mandated us to deal with this question.
Now, viewers, Minister Munila also shared some important statistics on accident in the oil and gas sector for 2025. Listen to this.
In total, there were 305 reported incidents, predominantly occurring in the upstream sector, including 44 incidents attributed to fires or explosions, resulting regrettably in 8 fatalities. Despite the advancements in safety within our energy sector, considerable work remains to be done.
So viewers, we head into Tobago. In an effort to ensure the continuous growth of the Tobago tourism sector, the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, TTAL, has disbursed a little over 1.7 million in financial reimbursement and grants. This follows a recent successful showcase at the World Trade Market in London. Sparkles B, lovely event and accommodation, Shepherds in Tobago, Crown Point Beach Hotel Limited, and Tropicus Beach Hotel and Resort were the 4 chosen local tourist accommodation provided that received grants. Now, Tourism Secretary Tasha Boris noted that at the core of Tobago's tourism advancement lies a collective responsibility between the public and private sector. Now, Trinidad and Tobago is a nice place, lovely beaches, but what they need is something to attract the tourists. What can Tobago or Trinidad do to attract tourists? What do we need? Could somebody call in and tell me what do we need in order to attract tourists? What we need? Better ads, better management of the beach, better hotels offering better packages, welcoming outsiders. What do we need to boost tourism in Trinidad and Tobago? We have Tassa, we have Steel Pan, we have Mokojombi, we have what again? We have culture, we have art, but do we have the proper promotion for it? Do we have the proper handouts for it? I recently looked at Cancun and other countries in that line. They always pushing something on social media, always. Every day is a new video, a new post, something new. What do we have at Trinidad and Tobago to boost? What? We might see a post from about 4 months back. In Thailand, you always see them posting something. They're always posting. They're pushing tourism. What we pushing in Trinidad? On an international market to boost tourism in our country. What are we pushing? Caller, good night.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Go right ahead, my friend. You're live.
Saeed, yes, sir. If I want to apply for AGC house, I go St. Vincent and live in.
I hear you.
I say if I want to apply for HCC house, right? I go St. Vincent and live in. I know when I'm asking here, because apparently people from across waters and they get HCC house here easy.
No, but caller. When I got those documents and I saw St. Vincent Prime Minister and family, I was like, what?
Nah, it's shocking news there. But I wait to bust that all that information. I want to put it up on your program. I just see what it is what's going on in this country, right? And let me tell you, before I go, I know you're short on time, right? If the government wants to boost tourism in Tobago, partner, they had to build a proper marina down there so that cruise ship could dock there with tourists. That's what they need in Tobago. No come with plane again, they come with cruise ship in Tobago. On your side, you enjoy your night.
Thank you, my friend. But we need something to boost tourism. That is what we need. Let me tell you something. Tourism is bringing a lot of U.S. currency. A lot of millions of dollars in U.S. currency. But are we getting the correct people to boost tourism? Do we have the proper team to boost tourism? Carnival. What attracts the people to come to Trinidad? The colors, the masks, the decorations, the party on the streets. If they don't promote anything in Trinidad and Tobago, they promote Carnival. It brings in millions of dollars into the economy, into the hotel sector. Guest house all over the country is rented out. But or how are we going to boost tourism in Trinidad and Tobago? You have a call? How are we going to do that? Tobago is nice. Blue waters in Tobago. Clear waters in Tobago. Nile and pool, you go down, water till your chest, you're enjoying it. But how are we? How are we as a country going to boost that? How are we going to sell that to the world? What are we going to say? Blue Water, White Sand, Tobago, come visit? Oh gosh, come on, man. That's the lamest thing I ever hear. That I wrong since before I born. What are we doing? Or what is the Ministry of Tourism doing to boost the tourism in Tobago? Let me tell you something. 90% of the time they're giving grants to hotel. They're giving grants to hotel. What are the hotel doing with it? Buying some new tables, some glass, and some plate. And that's it. What about the promoters? What about the social media platform? What about the tour guides? What about the road trips? What about the party boats? Who is actually boosting the tourism? Who is actually pushing it? Who is talking about tourism and actually pushing it so that the tourism sector could benefit in Trinidad and Tobago? Let me tell you something. There are millions of dollars to make, you know. Millions of dollars to make in tourism. But as a people, do we have the brain capacity to sell it? Do we have the brain capacity to sell it? Selling a product takes time and effort and planning. That's what it takes. It takes commitment. It takes hard work. But is there a team that is willing to do that? Is there a team that is willing to do that? Nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we're out of time for tonight. But I will run of this program tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30. We'll be right back here another night for another live. Until then, enjoy the night.